Hello, I'm Jack and welcome to the third and final video on my recent travels all around Morocco. So we're going to kick off high up in the mountains because we're going to go for a walk.
Before the walk, 4 hours, we'll see how I feel. I think it could be a glorious day. Look at that.
So here we are setting off. It's a little bit like Lord of the Rings, all going in a trail, and the scenery is a bit like Lord of the Rings, quite barren and rocky. Our guide, we had two guides, one at the front with the girls, and we all got very excited when we saw goats, yes, mountain goats, and we also saw some two-footed goats.
A mountain goat, a Chilean mountain goat.
And I go as far to say that these are all goats because they were bounding from crag to crag at enormous speed, and us poor old boys, we couldn't keep up. So Larchin, well, he was good. He was at the back with me. I was going along with my poor old foot, and Alan. And Alan's my hero because he actually had his ankle operated on, and he was doing extremely well, yes. We came across water.
Waterfall.
And where you come across water, you come across green trees. You can see the high atlases in the distance. And we walked our way through to a riverbank, and that's where we all had our little picnic. You can see our guides. You can see things being pointed out to us. And I think this is a great photograph taken by Larchin. And, he does like to get himself in as well. Paulina is continuing her mountain goat thing. And I'm not sure what Lucy's up to.
Why do you love running water? Come on, why?
I love the sound of it.
Yes?
I love the sound of it. And the fact that it's always different every second.
I think our path was basically a kind of mule train, and some of the locals were going by. By now, the girls had given up on us, and Alan and I were going at our own pace, quite happily. Coming into town, you could see the green trees and the local villages, and it was good to get back.
Right, we've done the great big walk. It's about quite a few miles up and down. And look at this, isn't this fantastic? There we go.
Two things when we did get back. One was we had a fantastic lunch on the terrace, sun terrace of where we were staying. I think we all enjoyed that. And then the girls went off to what's called a hammam, which is where it's a bit like a sauna and you kind of get scrubbed. And I think they had a wonderful time with hot water and lovely girls. And then it was the bloke's turn, and we had lukewarm water and a kind of slightly reluctant lad who had to scrub down these middle-aged men. I wouldn't say that was a highlight for me, but I do think the mountains were. We had a good time there. Next morning, we're going to the seaside. Yes, we're going to Essaouira, I think it's something like that. So we got a long journey. So a walk down the path to meet our coach, and then we're going to go travel up into the high Atlas mountains, past dusty old villages and crumbling palaces, and we get to the high point, and it's quite a view.
This is a pass, the highest pass on the high Atlas mountains. It's been described as bleak by my companion here, but I think it's something like 2,260 meters up from sea level. Pretty amazing, eh?
And yes, it is 2,260 meters, which is why all the television aerials are there. The geography is very different on the other side, looking down, and there's a great road.
Here's another view. Look at this windy road. Look at that. Quite amazing. And back up there. Be great on a motorbike.
There's also plenty to buy, and you can see the locals looking down into the valley, and that's what we were going to do. We're going to drive down into the valley and onto Marrakesh. Marrakesh, rather bizarrely, we stopped for a pizza or what have you, and then carried on, stopped for a coffee again, and we could hear kind of this gunshot going off and horses clipping by, and Larchin said, well, let's go and have a look. And we came across this fantastic event. It seems that it's a competition between local villages, and the men of the village, they all kind of line up and charge, and they have to do the right thing at the right time. And in particular, the cannons go off when they get to the end. They have to stay on the horses. I think we were the only Westerners there. It was interesting to see that there was a kind of a women's only side to the proceedings, and then the men were all on another side. But I think overall there were some lovely shots, and as we went around Morocco, most hotels had the shots of this sort of horse riding going on, and it showed a lot of skill from the men in being able to do this, and a lot of nerve from the horses to keep it going. So that was really the highlight of the day, and some very, very atmospheric photographs. We then carried on until we got to the coast and walked into a lovely old town and to our riad, which was right in the middle. Larchin encouraged me to go off straight away down to the coast because the sun was setting. I'm going to get lovely views, which we did, and a lovely shot of Lucy here as well. Then walked back through the town to our riad, which I thought was absolutely lovely.
This is where we live. Isn't it fantastic? It's a riad, and it's got lots of floors. And we're, all the way up there. Yes, all the way. Fantastic.
In the evening, went to listen to music. That's one of the things we've done all the way through this holiday, but we had head whirling as well in this, which was good to see.
He's got it.
Next morning, well, we had a tour, and past the tower, the seagulls seemed to kind of dominate the place. Paulina and Hannah, well, they were enjoying the view and watching the waves coming in off the Atlantic.
Look at this. Big sea.
We then walk round into the harbour, and you can see these traditional blue fishing boats. There's lots and lots of them, so that was I enjoyed seeing that, and also some big old boats as well, which I assume are kind of fishing boats, which kind of go further afield. So I do like walking around kind of docks and harbours and things. Back into the town, back round the back of the fort, back to look at the sea wall with all the seagulls. Yes. And then through the town gates and back out onto the Atlantic coastline, and you can see it's pretty rough and stormy here now. The cannon's pointing out to sea. Here's a shot of our guide. We loved our guide. He was a big character. Yeah, took us for a walk through the town. Here's a pussycat. And we looked at lots of doors, yes? And doors have all sorts of symbols on them that tell you who lived there and why they lived there and what have you. A bit of music. And then back to the doors, and some of the doors were really quite small, so that you couldn't kind of look in, and all sorts of decorations. The town itself, it's not that old. It's very similar to Cheltenham, kind of 1760, built on the orders of the king on a kind of grid sort of basis, and basically the port for Marrakesh. So it's not as higgledy-piggledy as some other places, but I really liked it. It had a kind of more relaxed atmosphere, you know, when you went into the marketplace. And that's one of the things that's changed a lot from 2014. We've not been hassled once on this holiday. I think they kind of stamped it out. And as a tourist, that was much appreciated. I wanted to buy a chessboard, found a nice chessboard, but didn't buy it because the pieces weren't really kind of up to scratch. Anyway, we continued our tour outside the town walls. You can see the gates here. I'm quite pleased with this shot here, and also of a mosque and of a pussycat. Yes, a very, very proud pussycat. So carrying on round, it's about 19 degrees all day now. Very, very pleasant sunshine, cats and mosques and bougainvillea. Yes, well, we went off to look at jewellery being made. We had a little kind of presentation where the king's jewellers worked, and I bought a few little trinkets. And it seems our Riyadh is between two mosques which have different times of day for the prayer call. So I then spent a couple of very pleasant hours by the coast having lunch with Neil and Paulina and Hannah, and it was just great. If you look at the bay here, it sweeps round just like Swansea Bay, and to the other side you've got the docks with the big old boats and a bit of industrial stuff, again just like Swansea Bay. And then in the evening went to listen to more music, a bit more electronic this time. Next day, our last big coach trip, and all the cases had to be loaded up from the Riyadh and carted off to the coach, which is a bit of something. And then on the way to Marrakesh, we stopped off for coffee, and it was goodbye to Mohammed. And Paulina did a really great job at saying goodbye.
So, thank you, Mohammed, for keeping us safe. Yeah. You was the best driver.
Yeah,
and you've been so kind, taking care of all of us, and we really, really appreciate it. So we're so glad.
Driving into Marrakesh, you see all the kind of local markets, all the fruits being kind of piled up, which is good. So the chickens being piled up, which is not so good, but the reality of it. We went for lunch at a little kind of potato place with cats, and that was nice. And then in the afternoon, we had a guide. We were going down the Baha'i Palace, and that was really quite something. The building itself, well, was typical, but what really struck me was the ceilings. The ceilings were out of this world fantastic, and I've just got a little kind of video selection here showing all of this.
What a ceiling.
Suffice to say, I was thrilled. You can see looking suitably gobsmacked, but the workmanship and the artistry is just fantastic. The arches, the doorways, the ceilings, the courtyards, all really quite something. Here's our guide. He was young and a bit academic for us, but a lot of the stuff spoke for itself, the kind of artistry of these works before we got to the main square.
This is what I remember.
Olives, we love olives. The darker they are, the longer they are on the tree. And then spices. Yes, we went off for a talk on spices. Spices were bought. That was good. And knockers were bought. Yes, here's a little fine knocker for a fine Scottish door. I hope it's there a long time. Here's the main prayer tower and sister to the one that's in Seville. So that's quite a good sight. And then in the evening, well, we all voted to go back to the restaurant we came to on the first evening. So we walked off, had a lovely meal. And then our final day in Marrakesh and off to the Marjarel Gardens, which I think of as Yves Saint Laurent Gardens. Went there with Mel, and it's a feast in blue sky and water, green vegetation, yellow pots, really quite something, and beautifully laid out. You walk around, the plants, palm trees are very, very mature now, and cactus, yes, cactus with some really quite magnificent cactus. I reckon these must be like 50 years old, some of them. Looking very good indeed, as well as fountains and courtyards. Some of these cacti must be over 50 years old. We had quite a nice time. We looked at some Berber jewellery, and we also had lots of group photographs. I particularly like this one, all of us sitting on a bench. It's a lot better than one of me goofing around, though Paulina rescues it a bit. And we all went off for a nice lunch in the cafe, which I think the architect set up. Well, what to do next? Well, I had a madrasa I wanted to go to. So we walked through old Marrakesh. By the city walls, you come across the kind of market where the locals go to. You can see oranges being sold in various different ways, which is very, very interesting. A bit of graffiti on the wall, and then basically people put their fruit out and people come up and buy, and it was quite something. And then into old Marrakesh, you still see the kind of donkeys and carts, and you get the narrow streets and the little squares and courtyards. But this is where we're going, the Madrasa Ben Youssef. And if yesterday it had been about ceilings, today it was about plasterwork and woodwork.
Oh my goodness. It's the prayer hall. It's just fantastic.
The craftsmanship is really quite fantastic, and reminds me of the work from Spain, and I think that makes sense because when people were expelled from Spain, they came over to Marrakesh. So you've got woodwork, you've got plasterwork, you've got tiling, you've got the staircases going up with the little cells upstairs, and back into the souk and back to the main square. You can see this is where the French used to drink their coffee when they were colonial power, and we went next door. I went for a walk past these guys. They're not just selling fruit, they're selling kind of smoothies. You buy your fruit and they make you up a smoothie. Here's the prayer tower and a fine display of Moroccan flags, and the evening sun was starting to go down, so that in the cafe you can see the dazzling of everybody's sunglasses. Yes, the sun was going down, and quite a sight it was, really quite beautiful. And as the sun went down, the square kind of came to life even more. I think people come out once the sun's down, and you can see the whole place thriving. In the evening, we went to a rooftop restaurant, looking down on the prayer tower, looking down on the square, and it was time to say goodbye to Larch.
Here in Morocco, that was like so kind and teach us a lot about your beautiful, beautiful country. So we're really, really, really grateful for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all of you guys. It's been a lovely trip. You need to be lucky.
All that's left to do then is to go home. Here's a map of where we've been, and you can see we've been all around Morocco. So the next morning we hung around our hotel till it was time to go to the airport. Off we go on BAS to Heathrow, and here I am on the train at 12 o'clock at night waiting to get home. But I had a fantastic 2 weeks. I saw the most amazing terrain and geographies, saw the most wonderful Islamic architecture and designs and mosaics and friezes. We had all sorts of experiences and saw all sorts, from camel riding in the desert to horses charging, and unforgettable. And but the best thing was the people. I think we were, as a group, we were a very happy group and had a very nice time. So thank you to everybody. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly did. I'll never forget it. Okay, that's it. Bye bye then. Bye bye.